and welcome to Cape House Cooking. Today I'm here with my good friend Venera Cocks, and she's brought a recipe that's one of her favorites, and she's going to make it for us today.
Yeah.
How you doing, Venera?
I'm doing great. I love the fact that I'm cooking this early in the morning, and
It is early.
Yeah, and we are going to make a delicious dish with kale and turkey sausage and some cannellini beans, tomatoes, and pretty simple, healthy, and delicious.
Great. So what are you doing here now?
All right. Well, I'm prepping the kale.
You washed it.
You wash it. It's okay at the top of the leaf to use part of the stem, but when you get to the bottom where it's a thick stem, you want to cut the leaves off because it'll just be too thick and coarse to eat. So that's what I do to prepare it before we saute it, which will be in a separate frying pan than where we make the sausage and the beans and the rest of the goodies that go into this dish.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
So let's see. Maybe what do you need here? You want me to chop up some garlic?
Yeah, we need some garlic, and I don't really measure. I just basically cut a couple of cloves, and
Okay.
being I'm Italian, you can never use too much garlic, and we also need about half an onion chopped. I like this dish also, not just because it's healthy and wholesome, but also because it's few ingredients, so it doesn't take a lot of time to cook.
Oh,
I mean, you
great.
can come home from a long day of work and easily, without much effort really, and you can even prep beforehand, but have a really good dinner in about a half hour.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And so many people are into kale now.
Yep.
It's become the
It is.
vegetable.
And I have to admit that I really never had kale until not that long ago when it became popular, or started becoming popular. When we were growing up, it was escarole.
Oh, wow.
Or in Italian, my mother used to call it scarole.
Oh, wow.
And, but anyway, I've just grown to really love the taste of kale, even, you know, like raw in salads, which is delicious. I just recently had a salad with quinoa and lentils, and it was really great with almonds.
Yeah, I was just in a restaurant the other day and they had a salad with kale.
And this is turkey sausage, so I think what I usually do is just put a little oil in the pan.
Okay.
And
We got our EVOO on in there.
Yeah,
And you're just going to place these sausages in, give them a little rub around the oil.
yeah, and just let them saute. You have some grape tomatoes that are ripening a little, so they're softer. These are pretty big grape tomatoes, so I'm almost thinking I might want to cut them in half. But another shortcut, and also if you don't have grape tomatoes on hand, is sometimes you can use diced tomatoes
Oh, okay.
and just drain the juice from them, or just add a little bit of the
Yeah,
juice.
sometimes, you know, you don't have those fresh tomatoes on hand. How much of this onion did you want? Do you want the whole
Probably
thing?
half of it, maybe.
Just half?
Yeah,
Okay.
about half. If I'm going to buy canned anything, which is not too many things that I buy canned of, but the beans, I always opt for reduced sodium
Oh,
in everything.
I didn't even know that.
I mean, I'm not really a salt person anyway, but there's so much sodium in everything
Right.
that you want to just eliminate what you can when you can. I like when we cook this up because sauteing it with the garlic and the onion, not only it makes your house smell really good, but then you start to see the the tomatoes just blend with everything and pop, and it's really nice. Okay, so these are starting to fry up, and every so often you just want to turn them. And what I usually do is I cook them maybe about 3/4 of the way.
Oh, okay.
And then I take them out and put them aside. Drain the beans. Oh yes, and we can't forget about wine.
You brought your own little container of wine.
Yes. I didn't want to...
Just in case I didn't have any.
Well, and...
Unlikely as that would be.
Exactly. The kale we saute separately from the onion and the garlic and the beans and tomatoes. Figure when you put the sausage back on, the tomato and onions and beans, that's when you should start sauteing the kale. And with that, I just sprinkle some white wine and a little water, a little pepper.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not a big salt person, so I don't really add salt, but if you are, you can add salt also. And I really like to use all the time sea salt,
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
yeah, I just think it gives everything a better flavor.
Yeah, there's actually a Cape Cod sea salt company, and they make their own sea salt, and it's the best part about it is that the salt is, has all that flavors of Cape Cod, and it employs, I think, a couple hundred people from Capabilities, so people with disabilities.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
the Bourne Historical Society just had them come in and do a talk and bring in some of their salt, and they also have salt mixed with some seasonings, and you can buy all these. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's something to look for.
Yeah.
This whole business of artisanal salt
Yeah.
is really becoming popular. People are eating salt from the Himalayas and, very small batch, naturally made salt. So I guess our commercial salts have some stuff in them that maybe we don't like. They're not pure, they have anti-caking ingredients that people don't necessarily want to eat. So
I don't eat pork sausage anymore.
Right.
I just don't, because it's grizzly, it's got a lot of fat, where I find the turkey and the chicken sausage doesn't. And also what I like about it is they both have a little kick to them.
Right.
A little bit of a, spicy heat, and I like that.
Well, it's great. Well, it's great they can do all that, and honestly, most people can't tell the difference.
Yeah. No, they can't.
You can feed it to your boyfriend or husband or whatever, and they don't know.
It's like going from whole milk to 2%,
Right.
then down to 1%. It's like anything that you get used to.
Yeah. Well, now I'm into the cashew milk.
Oh, I
love
haven't
it.
tasted
Oh,
cashew.
it's fantastic. It's as creamy as whole milk,
Really?
and it's 25 calories per 8 ounces.
Wow,
For the
that's
unsweetened.
really low.
I mean, it's lower than almond milk.
Well, I buy, and I love it, almond and coconut,
Oh, yeah.
unsweetened. I love that.
I
And
haven't
it's
tried
only
that one.
45 calories for
Yeah.
8 ounces.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, it is delicious with cereal.
Oh,
That little bit, it's like both of them don't overpower the other taste.
Right.
It's just so
Good
good.
combination.
I haven't bought milk in, I don't even know
I haven't
how long.
either. I haven't
But
either.
I gotta try that cashew, because I love cashews. And
Yeah, it's nice. And that Silk brand is no GMO, which I like. I don't really want any GMO. Those genetically modified organisms.
yeah.
So I'm a real non-GMO buyer.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait until the farmers markets
I know.
start.
I know.
So you have a great one there in Falmouth.
Yep, now with
Really
the band
nice.
shell.
Yep. They
Yeah.
moved over from Main
Yeah.
Street to the band
But
shell.
there's also one at the county fairgrounds
Right.
on Tuesdays, I think.
Yep.
And at Mahoney's on Saturdays.
That's great over in East Falmouth.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So more and more people are getting on board with eating healthier and local
farm to table.
Yeah, farm to table.
You get rid of all those preservatives, and also, I was just reading that, say you bought fresh spinach, and you let it sit around in your refrigerator because you didn't get around to cooking it for 5 days, it keeps losing its nutrients.
Yeah.
Whereas I just made a dish with frozen spinach in it, and normally I'm all about fresh.
Yeah.
But actually the frozen spinach, when they freeze it immediately,
Yep, the nutrients
compared
stay.
to that spinach that's been, sitting around a grocery store and then sitting around your refrigerator, they're pretty much of equal value. So, it's not just about having a fresh ingredient, it's how soon you use it.
Right. Well,
they do degrade.
Yeah, and that goes back to how it was when we were growing up, or, beyond that.
Right.
The old-fashioned way. They would shop every day, just like they do in France, just like they do, and, every day go to the market for fresh, whatever they're going to cook for that night.
Right.
And, there's something to that. Let's shut this off for a second.
Okay.
And put these on a plate. Now, don't forget, they're nice and hot inside, so they're also continuing to cook. While we set them, while we set them aside. And I'm not going to clear out this pan because we've got a little bit of the juices from the turkey. I'm going to add a little more EVOO. And I don't want to well, these are rubber. I was going to say I don't want to scrape up your pan. But I'm going to add the onion and the garlic that Sue has chopped up so nicely. And even had a little cry about it.
I did. A few tears on that onion.
And now what I'm going to do is I am going to add the tomatoes.
Oh, great. So, it's nice. It all goes right in that pan.
This is the other thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love one pot or one dish pans.
Sure.
Dinners.
Cleanup is a big part of
That's
home
another
cooking.
That's another plus to this. So I don't usually mash up any of this, but you can mash half of them to make it a little
thicker. Yeah.
So while we're waiting for that to cook a little, I think what I'm going to do is just add a little water in the pan that we're going to steam the kale in, just to get it prepared. And we can actually even just put the kale in the pan. Drizzle a little wine on top also for right now.
So, is this just a basic white wine, or
This is whatever.
Chardonnay, whatever you have?
This is Chardonnay,
Okay.
but you can use any wine as long as it's good enough to drink.
There you go. There's a rule of thumb.
It is a rule of thumb.
All right.
You only use wine that is good enough to drink.
Okay. No cheap wine here.
So add a little bit of salt.
It's up to you. If you don't,
Yeah, I'll
just a little.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I said, if I'm just making this for myself, then I don't add it. So now what I'm going to do is stir this up a little, because these are cooking unbelievably nice.
They smell fantastic. Tomatoes, garlic, and onion.
Yup. And now we're going to add the cannellini beans, which are white kidney beans, just to give you a different name for them. I'm going to stir those all around. And you can vary this recipe to your liking. You may want to not only use the grape tomatoes, but you might want to also drain a can of diced tomatoes and add that to it. If you like more tomatoes, or if you like less beans, use half a can instead of a can. Like I said, it's just a matter of your taste. Okay? So now, here comes the wine again. Wine always makes me happy. Okay, we're gonna just add a little bit of wine.
Wonderful.
And there's always a little extra wine, either for sipping or adding more wine. And we're going to add some pepper. And like I said, I'm going to add a little bit of salt because it's not just me that will be eating this. Stir that around a little. I have the temperature temperature on a medium heat while all the flavors are cooking together is because it gets it, just gathers all the,
Goodness.
goodness together a little more. So
Yeah. Gonna meld it all together.
it's not going to take that much longer before it's going to be ready for the sausage to go back on, and that's when I cover it also. Just get it all heated up together, and then I'll put the kale on to saute and steam a little bit. And I don't usually steam or saute it that much, just
So
a little
what
bit.
went in that pan of kale? Just some wine, some water, salt and pepper?
That's it.
No oil?
No oil.
Oh, okay.
And that is the other thing. I have a brother who is on a very strict vegan diet
Oh, okay.
where he can't even have fish or dairy or eggs or anything, or EVOO, any kind of oils or nuts. So I'm always looking to make recipes, not using any of those ingredients. And so this is a perfect example. You don't need to use EVOO. You could saute with any dish, garlic, vegetables, onions, with wine instead of.
Yeah, or you could use a little vegetable broth. I use
That's
that a
right,
lot to
vegetable
saute, and if
or
I'm trying to
chicken.
watch my calories, I don't want to get too much oil, because even though the EVOO is good for you for certain things, like cholesterol, it's supposed to help with that.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of calories.
It is, depending on how much you use. Yeah, so either way, there's,
Yeah, there's other things you can
other
use.
options.
Sometimes you can just use some liquid from a can of tomatoes. Just trying to get that liquid in there.
So
It doesn't have to be EVOO.
These are cooking up really nice.
Beautiful.
I know. I'm going to get my sausage. And I'm going to put them right on top. Sometimes what I do also is I'll cut them in half
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
and just place them on top. And you could do that afterwards when you're serving, which is another nice thing. You don't even have to put this on the table to serve. You can put it on each dish. I put kale, I'll put the bean and tomato mixture, and then I'll put a sliced sausage right on top. So when I make this for myself, like if I cook on a Sunday, I'll use maybe 2 or 3 sausages, and I'll get 3 meals out of it.
Sure.
All you need is 1 sausage really on top of it all. It's filling, it's satisfying, and it's good. Okay, I am just going to put this cover on, get it going a little faster.
Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
And again, always check it. I mean, this has a lot of nice juice in there.
It does.
So if you find that it's not that juicy, just add a little more wine.
More wine is the answer.
One for me. Green, that rich green, sort of like the grass.
Wow.
Of
The
this
grass of
spring.
Ireland.
Oh yeah, the grass of Ireland, but I'm just thinking here now, we need it so bad. All right, I'm going to shut this off. This is ready to go. I'm
Fantastic.
going to shut this off, and we're ready to serve. Okay, so what I do to serve it is I'll just put some kale on a plate. You can be as generous depending on how many guests you have. I'm going to take some of these beans and tomatoes,
Oh, that looks fantastic.
and then I'm going to take a sausage, put it on top, and I am just going to give it a little slice in the middle, open it up, turn it around, and there we have it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow, that looks fantastic.
And it smells delicious. if you have guests that don't like kale,
Right.
I mean, you can put
You don't
this.
have to have
You
kale.
can even add quinoa to this. There's so many things you could do. What we're making here as an appetizer is Feta and Scallion Dip. So we're going to chop up these scallions. So obviously you want to cut the tops and bottoms, the very tops and bottoms of the scallion pieces to discard. Okay, we want to keep one scallion for garnishing. I like to make these two dishes together for company because I saved about 3 kale leaves. And you will see why when we're ready to serve the appetizer. Grated lemon, zest, and we're going to need to juice.
Okay.
About a tablespoon of lemon. Okay. So, I love my little Cuisinart chopper. And I found this Narragansett creamy salty sea feta yesterday.
Wow.
There was a tasting going on and it was delish. So, and also fairly local.
Yeah, where does it say it's made?
Well, I guess Narragansett, I don't have my...
Made with local hormone-free milk. That's nice. Providence, Rhode Island. Great. Combine the chopped scallion, oil, lemon zest, and lemon juice in a food processor. That's easy. Okay.
Then we're going to add the scallions. Makes
Eighth
a
of a
lot,
cup.
so. Oh, great.
Your EVOO.
Okay, so we're going to process it till smooth. You can make this ahead of time and just keep it refrigerated. So that's another good thing, you know, if
Right.
you're having a
I'm
party,
all about
yeah.
making things ahead of time.
Yeah, because you want to enjoy your guests. Little bit of salt and pepper. Again, I'm going to add some pepper. I am not going to add salt to this stuff. I always said that this appetizer is great for, and you'll see why, you know, like a St. Patrick's Day party or spring or something like
Or
that.
I think you served this at Christmas.
I did,
It was
that's right.
beautiful green,
Yeah.
and you could use some red pepper slices for dipping if you didn't want to use crackers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really such a pretty color.
Okay, I think that's about it. So what I've done is I've saved some of my kale leaves for serving the appetizer. And you can get really fancy with this if you want. You can put tomatoes around here. You can put some carrot sticks, make it colorful because the feta cheese, or you could put your crackers around here. I mean, really, this dip you can use with anything that would taste good.
Sure, anything you like to dip
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, so I'm just going to pile it on, and then you can smooth it out if you want with a spoon or the spatula. Just, you know, it would look really nice like you said, and I might have done this, I don't remember, but for Christmas you could put this on a larger platter and some red pepper strips.
Yep, and just some crudité and
Yeah.
have red peppers and maybe some tomato, a ring of tomatoes. Just so lovely. I love the color.
There you go. So now,
This is one green dish.
green dish
How
and
pretty
one
that is.
healthy
And here's your scallion.
meal. You just flake some of that on there. There we go.
Beautiful.
So now,
Let's try it.
okay, here's to a great cooking session.
Thank you for coming. Very good.
Really nice.
And beautiful to look at. Are you ready to try this delicious dish? This is our turkey sausage.
I'll start from this end.
Turkey sausage with kale, cannellini beans, wine, lots of wine. Delicious.
And you taste the crunch of the kale, so it's al dente. That's why you don't want to really make it cook it too much.
And I know what you mean about a little heat in that sausage, because that nice spice.
Just enough.
Yes. Yeah, but it's light.
It's light.
Delicious. Well done. Another successful episode of Cape House Cooking. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.